have this vivid memory of sitting in the bathtub one time and just crying.
I think I punched my dad once.
You're not in charge of me right now. Like, you just won't leave me alone.
I had an epidural in my back, so I couldn't move very well.
She just wanted me to keep pushing and keep going.
Everybody had one. Like, if you didn't have one, you were looked down upon.
This is a show where teenagers share their experiences growing up in today's world. I'm your host, Dr. RJ, and this is A Teen's Perspective. Hello and welcome to A Teen's Perspective, helping parents see the future. I'm your host, Dr. RJ, and today I have two guests today. This is very exciting. It'll be my first time with two guests, and we're going to talk about the challenges of middle school, specifically academics and dance. So before I introduce my guest, we have to come up with a name because they are minors. They're eighth graders. And we're going to come up with a name for you first. So if you were a superhero, what would you want your name to be?
Probably Elastigirl.
Elastigirl, I like it. And what about you? Superhero?
I'll just do Water Girl.
Water Girl. So I'm assuming your superpower would be like you swim fast or what?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll start off with Elastigirl. So share with us, how is it growing up in your house? Like, how are your parents and all that?
Pretty normal, like everyone else. Like, I have a younger brother, so I'm 3 years older than him. And my parents are very loving. They're really nice. And I wouldn't ask for it any other way.
Oh, okay, cool. And so you're the oldest?
Yes.
Talk to me about the differences between the parents, like their parenting style.
My dad is like a lot more like laid back, very like relaxed, just like go with the flow. My mom is a lot more like strict and like very cookie cutter.
So give me an example.
Just very like inside the box and like just very strict, but like in a good way. And she like has her own way of things. She doesn't like doing things other people's way.
Okay. So give me an example of a time where, say you wanted something and you noticed the difference between your parents and their answers.
If I ask my mom, she'll be like, yes, but I want you to do this and this and this and this before. And if I ask my dad, he'll be like, yes, just like do like one thing. Whereas my mom, it's like a list of things.
Now, have you noticed much difference in the way you were raised versus your brother? Since, you know, you're older and you're a girl and he's a boy.
It's pretty like the same, except just like that I'm older. Like I have like a lot of stuff that like he doesn't, and it gets him jealous sometimes. But like, yeah, it's like pretty like the same because like I was like young, so I can't really remember, but like almost like the same.
All right, let's bring Water Girl into this. So talk to me about how you were raised in your household.
I have 3 other siblings, so sometimes it's chaotic. And we fight over a lot of stuff. And yeah.
And where are you in the group?
I'm the youngest.
Oh, so you're the baby.
Yeah.
So 3 older siblings and boys, girls?
1 boy and 2 girls.
And like, walk me through the age.
We're all 2 years apart.
So how old is the oldest?
19 or 18.
Okay. And is he or she?
She's a girl.
Oh, okay. So she's still in the house. She hasn't graduated high school yet?
No, she's in college.
Oh, she's in college. She's already left.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's a 19-year-old, a 17-year-old, and then a 15.
Yeah, I think he's 15. Yeah.
It's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah.
Huh? All right. So talk to me about the differences with your parents as far as their parenting style.
Like with my brother, they're usually more strict with him because he acts more tough than us, I guess. And with us, they're more laid back. But when it comes to like homework, they get really like strict about it. So
for the most part, both parents are like laid back?
Well, my dad's more strict about like homework, but other than that, yeah.
So it sounds like the academics is like the most important. So outside of homework, if you were like, hey, I want to go to my friend's house, who would you ask first?
My mom.
And why is that?
Because my dad usually is always at work, or he'll be kind of like angry if he's on call.
Oh, I see.
He doesn't want people coming over.
He wants some peace for a change. I see. So, this question is for both of you guys. Middle school is known as the hardest transition for any kid. It's a hard transition because I think it has a lot to do with the fact that in elementary, someone's holding your hand. You're still looked at as like a kid. But as you transition to middle school, you have more freedom, more independence, and you're starting to grow up. A lot of people are, reaching puberty. So it's actually a tough time. So share with me your experience moving into middle school, like around 6th grade.
Well, for me, I know in 5th grade, I was like definitely excited because like there wouldn't be as many like restrictions on like what I could do and that like it would be more laid back. It was like kind of like that like the first year and a half, but like as you keep going and like progressing, you realize it's not that great and that like you're just like more excited for like the next chapter in your life to like keep going. Because like that's for me, I like change a lot. It's like when there's like a routine for me, I get bored of it. So that's like why I'm really excited for like high school, and because like you definitely have a lot more freedom and that like someone's still not like holding your hand and that like it's completely up to you.
I think for me, math was definitely harder than 5th grade. And the other thing was the locker combo, because we had to have a combo for a locker and getting between classes. And after like the first 6 weeks, it got a lot easier.
Okay, you guys are 8th graders now. So look back over middle school and share with me some of your best moments in middle school.
For me, probably just like meeting all my friends and like definitely like not being so introverted and like being scared what others thought of me, because I remember I was like that a lot in 6th grade. As 7th grade and 8th grade came, I really like broke out of my shell and like made a lot more friends and like was a lot more open to people and like more willing to be like friends with them. And so like probably just like making all my friends that I have now.
Got it. So you mentioned that you're an introvert.
No, I'm an extrovert, but like I've always been an extrovert, but like I feel like I was like holding back because like I was scared of what others thought of me, but like now I like couldn't care less.
Got it. So basically in middle school, you felt like you were in elementary school, you felt like you were yourself.
Yeah, but it's like in 6th grade, I was like, no, like I don't like this. But then in 7th grade, I was like, I don't care anymore.
Interesting. So what caused that transition?
I don't know, probably just like making more friends and like having new friends like invited to our friend group and just like having a bigger network of people to like be around and have their energy to like bounce off of.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So Water Girl, share with me and the audience about the friend group, because this is, I think, definitely something you guys' generation. So share with us, what is a friend group?
Well, it's like your closest friends, and you sit by them like at lunch and you just talk about school or like what's bothering you.
Yeah, but this is not just like, 2 people. This is like a big group, right? So how do you form a big friend group?
It's usually if you have classes with them or like if you have something after school with them and you get to know them better and then like your friends know them, they like them, and that's how it's really.
Now, in this friend group, is there like a pecking order? Like, is there someone that kind of runs the group and everyone else, or everyone is kind of equal?
I don't know. There's definitely like extroverts and introverts in the group. Like there's definitely like alphas, but there's not like one specific person that leads, because I feel like all of us have like really big personalities. So like no one would really let that happen.
So within this friend group, you actually have someone you're like closer to, or a couple of people you're closer to. And everyone else is more like associates or somebody you just kind of hang out with when you guys are together.
Well, like some people like aren't friends with everyone in the friend group, but like I personally am like really close friends with every single person in our friend group. There's just like people who I'm like really, really close with, and then everyone else I'm like close with.
Okay, so each person in the friend group, you could hang out without the other group.
Yeah.
All right, so talk to me about if your parents were to give you guys the option to bring 2 friends and you go into Hawaii, how do you make that decision with the friend group?
I'd probably like do process of elimination and like choose like 4 main people and then just like eliminate like that.
Yeah.
You say there's 13 in your group?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you cut from 13 to 4?
Even though like I'm close with them, I wouldn't want to go to Hawaii with them.
Yeah.
So it's only like 4 of them that you probably would want to go to Hawaii with?
Yeah.
All right, so you have 4. You only could bring 2, so how do you cut from there?
I'd probably ask my parents what they think.
Interesting.
Yeah. Just like ask someone on their opinion.
So your parents, they know all of the friends?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you would value their opinion in that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Depends what they say.
Yeah.
Give me an example.
Like, if they say someone that I'm not really close to at the time, like, I'm going to say no.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you guys try to fight for an extra person?
Yeah.
If you could, so it could be 3 on Hawaii?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, another question, would you invite each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured that would be a yes because it would be very awkward if it was a no. All right. So you guys mentioned that academics is very, very difficult in middle school. So talk to us about that.
Well, 6th grade definitely was like a lot easier, but like 7th grade was probably like one of the hardest years for academics, just with like science was pretty hard that year because we were just learning so much new stuff, and like not everyone had like a really great teacher because the teachers weren't super great. I remember my science teacher in 6th grade was like really, really good at teaching, but my 7th grade teacher was like not good at all, and I like almost failed her class.
So what makes a teacher great?
Explaining things like doing like everything where like every student can like understand, whether it's like visual aids or like explaining so they can like hear it, or doing like a hands-on experience like a lab or something, just like something so that like all the students can like understand it fully.
And what would make a bad teacher?
Probably someone who just like doesn't care and doesn't really like teach, just like lets the students figure it out for themselves. That really annoys me when teachers don't teach.
So give me an example of a teacher you've had where you can tell that teacher doesn't care.
Probably my 7th grade science teacher, or this year's math teacher for me. My math teacher, she like, because I have like a lot of like really, really loud kids in my class who like break the rules and stuff. And so I feel like she's too busy like worried about them and like trying to help other kids that she's not really like teaching. So we have to figure it out for ourselves. The math is like pretty easy. So I just like ask my friends to help me if I need help.
So in school, you guys are finding that it's a lot of like crowd control, like trying to get kids to calm down, even in middle school?
Yeah.
Are there like no consequences if kids start to get unruly?
There's like consequences, but like no one really cares about them.
Yeah.
Give me an example. Like talk to me about like you're in class. Paint the picture for me. Like how has it been in class when it's unruly?
Just like what?
Like a daft.
Yeah, like
Or whatever.
they get like a DAF, which is like a slip of paper that their parents have to sign that they like did something bad. But normally it's just like a bunch of kids like screaming, and it's like one group of like guys who are just like crazy and just like screaming and all that kind of stuff.
So like the teacher's at the chalkboard and writing, and then some guys just started screaming?
Yeah.
About what?
I don't know, like the dumbest stuff.
Random. Like, they just like will scream for no reason or like make weird noises.
Really?
Yeah, it's
And it's just the guys?
yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the guys.
Do you see other students who are really wanting to learn? Do you see them kind of getting agitated or annoyed to tell them to calm down?
They normally
Yeah.
don't like do anything about
Yeah.
it.
Really?
They just like sit there and try their best.
I think they're used to it. Yeah.
And the teacher is just kind of like, hey, quiet down. And then they just keep making noise.
Well, it depends what teacher. Like,
Yeah.
some will be fine with it and some will get really angry. Or someone just like roll their eyes and keep on working.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They don't send them out of school, like out of the class, and go to the principal's office or anything like that.
It just depends on the teacher.
Yeah.
All right. So, Water Girl, so tell me about your experiences in the classrooms and in middle school.
Well, this year, in a few of my classes, like, people are really obnoxious and I can't really focus that much. I think that's one reason, like, I'm struggling kind of in math. And the teachers, like, some of them don't care, or some of them just like talk about themselves like the whole class period.
On average, how long are the class periods?
45?
Yeah, like 45 to like an hour kind of.
Oh, okay. And give me an example of one teacher's talking about themselves.
Like she always talks about her kids, or like how her day's been, or that she wants to go to sleep right now, or it's just random stuff.
Wow. And what are you guys' reactions?
I think we're pretty used to it because it happens a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like normally they don't let anyone else talk. They're just like talking about them.
So in most classes, you could talk to your friends and that's fine. Like they won't say anything.
Yeah.
And what about phones? Do they allow you guys to have your cell phones?
No, we're not allowed to have it.
I keep my phone on me though.
Really?
Yeah, in school. Like,
I do.
I just put it in my computer case. Like some teachers, like they all know that like the kids have their phones, and like I just think it's like such a dumb rule that like we're not allowed to have our phones, because like in high school you're allowed to have your phones in class, and then when you're done working, some teachers will just like let you go on your phone. But like I think of it as more of like a safety issue.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So explain that more.
Like if someone were to come into the school, like you would want to text your parents like that you love them and stuff, but like you can't do that if your phone's in your locker and like you're locked in the classroom.
Yeah, that's a really good point. If you're caught with your phone, what are the consequences?
They normally just like take it away and like they give you some sort of punishment. You just have to be smart not to be caught with it though. Like keep your ringer off, or like
Yeah, I shut mine down all the way.
I don't shut mine down. I just turn my ringer off. But like sometimes like when it's like in my computer case with my computer, the ringer will accidentally turn on.
Yeah.
And so it'll just like go off in the middle of class for something. If it's like silent, it's the worst. But like,
And what happens if it goes off?
everyone just like looks over and glances at you. And like you just have to pretend that like you're listening, and then like just like look back.
So all these kids are making all this noise, but no one pulls their phones out and uses their phone
Well, some do, but they just like put their computer case in front.
and just use their phone in the back. Oh, okay. Because you all have computers at your desk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now, do you ever see kids playing games on a computer instead of...
all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
And teachers have no idea.
The teachers,
they have an
they
idea.
definitely know. They're
Yeah.
just like, they can't really like blame the kids for something that they don't have actual proof of, but they definitely know. So they just like let it be. And they're like, I'm just going to let you do what you want to do. And like, yeah,
And how big are your classes on average?
26.
30, like 2 at the most.
Okay. And you guys go to public school.
Yes.
And there's one teacher for a class of 30-ish kids.
Yeah, there's like one teacher and then one AI, which is like the assistants for like the special ed kids.
Do they help out when other kids are being unruly, or are they only focused on the...
They like help everyone. Like if you
Yeah.
have a question and like your teacher is like busy, like they'll come over and like answer your question too. So that's helpful.
So to me, it seems like 2 teachers should be able to keep all the kids quiet.
Yeah, it just like depends on the teacher. If
Yeah.
it's like a really, really strict teacher, they'll like stay quiet. But if it's like a teacher who's like still strict but doesn't give consequences, then it's like...
Oh, I see. Okay, so the kids know who they can do that with and who they can't.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I see. Now, you guys mentioned that you were struggling like in math. And Water Girl, you even mentioned that you think it's because it's very hard to pay attention with all the noise going on. What do your parents say about that?
Well, my parents have definitely got angry about it. So my dad, whenever I get home, we usually go over it for like an hour, and then I get like back on track.
Oh, okay, so your dad kind of steps in, but it's not like he goes to the school and kind of,
Well, they've emailed the teacher about it, but she hasn't responded.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, I don't know.
What about you?
It doesn't really like stop me from concentrating, because like I've learned to like just ignore it. It doesn't really bother me that much because like I know like I'm loud. So like I normally just like...
So you're one of the unruly kids.
No, like I'm not like the one like screaming. I'm like just like loud like when I'm talking to my friends. But like normally I'll just go and like sit at a different table and like do the work like with my friends and like have them like help me understand it if I'm like not getting it. But like sometimes that's like the teacher's fault if I'm not getting it, because like all she does is just like give us like some notes. But like when she doesn't give us notes, it's like harder to understand.
Got it. All right. So I know in middle school is, you guys have your phones and all that, and social media is a big deal. So talk to me about social media.
I feel like a lot of people are getting sad about the amount of likes and that stuff they get. And like if they don't get above 100 or something, they feel like sad about themselves.
Oh, so there's like a number that you guys are shooting for as far as likes?
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
definitely just like a mental thing.
Yeah.
I thought Instagram was like going to remove the likes.
Yeah, I heard
that'd be
about that.
cool. I don't know.
So talk to us about the pressure. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I think most humans compare themselves. Even if they don't want to, you just can't help it. You know, you see somebody else, you kind of know where you are as far as status level based on someone else. So share with me like how that affects you guys whenever you're in your normal interaction.
I feel like it doesn't really affect anyone like at school and like it's really not that big of a deal. And it's just like something like people do like on their own time and like it's not like as bad as like adults make it seem.
So most kids are just, they don't really care about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends like who you are.
Yeah.
I know a few people care about it.
Yeah, it's just like your point of view and like
Yeah.
what your like priorities are.
So Water Girl, why is it that you don't care as much, but you say you have friends that do care about it?
Because like a lot of people I know are obsessed with the followers. And like, I don't know, I just make mine private because I don't want like people I don't know following me. And they just like care about getting the most amount of likes, I guess.
Do you think that has to do with how you were raised, or you think it's just your personality? You just don't really care as much as everyone?
Personality, probably.
And whenever your parents first allowed you to get on social media, which grade was that?
7th.
Share with me that conversation.
It was my birthday. They let me have it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is this something you've been asking for a while?
I didn't really care because all my siblings had it already, and I knew what it was about. So I was like, okay.
And did they say that you can get on all of them, or they only told you that you can get on a few?
I had Instagram first, and like the next year I got Snapchat, which I didn't really care. They're both kind of the same.
Cool. So what about you, Elastigirl?
I don't have Instagram or Snapchat, but I have like some, like a few social media ones, but it's kind of just like, I just asked them and they were like, yeah, sure. Like they didn't really care.
And which grade was that?
6th or 7th, yeah.
And why are you not on Instagram and Snapchat?
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't really want to be?
I mean, I do, but it's just my parents.
Oh, the parents don't want you to do it.
Yeah.
Is that more from your mom or your dad?
Definitely my mom.
Is that something you're going to be asking for your next birthday?
Yeah, I've been asking it for a while, but they just like haven't done anything about it.
Really? So share with me like your strategy when you go to ask about this.
I've kind of given up. I feel like there's like no point anymore.
Yeah, you do sound a little defeated.
Yeah.
Well, rewind back to the time where you felt like you had a good chance. So share with me like your thoughts and your strategy around trying to get them to let you join it.
I thought that I had a good chance, and then I asked them, and they kind of just shut me down, and I was like so upset. But yeah, I just kept on like moving on with my life. Yeah.
So it was basically like, hey, do you mind if I get on Snapchat, Instagram? They're like, no, and then that was it?
Yeah.
And did you ask for the reason why?
Yeah, they just was like, no.
All right, perfect. So what are some other challenges or issues you see in middle school, maybe not necessarily with yourself, but when you see other kids?
I'd say vaping, right?
Definitely vaping.
Yeah.
Really?
Or just like drugs and like in general, like marijuana, all that kind of stuff.
And when did you first witness any of this happening? Like which grade?
7th grade.
7th, yeah.
Okay, so 6th grade, you were completely oblivious to vaping. And,
No, it was like
We watched videos about it.
mid-year 6th grade.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 6th grade, they talked to you guys about it.
Yeah, they talk.
Yeah.
So tell me like some of the things they share with you about vaping.
They show us like a video, and they show how like nicotine is addicting, and like the people who do it are like getting lung diseases, right?
Yeah,
Or like really bad problems.
and how like vaping can lead to smoking.
Yeah.
But it's like only like certain types of vapes that like are like killing people. Like only like Juuls are killing people, like not like the other stuff. But it's still not good for you because it's like supposed to replace smoking.
Did they like have an assembly with all the kids go and watch this video, or was it like in each class?
Yeah, it was like in each class.
Yeah, it's each class. Like whenever you have PE or whatever, you would watch the video.
So you're in 6th grade, you're watching this video, and this is like the first time you're hearing about these things. What was your reaction?
It wasn't really anything like super extravagant to me. It was kind of just like expected because like I already knew that there was like a lot of people like smoking, so I just like thought of it as like almost the same thing.
Did the video like encourage you not to want to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the video helped.
Yeah.
So had they not had that video, Do you think you would have tried it?
No.
No.
Oh, you still wouldn't have tried it.
No.
Even
The
without
video wasn't like that convincing.
Yeah.
It was just like saying like what the stuff in it like does to you and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't really scare you out of doing it. It just like, I don't know.
Like it helps you see like the reasons you shouldn't, I guess.
Yeah, like the bad points of it.
Yeah.
When you're talking with your friends or you see other kids, are they like paying attention to the video? Did you guys like talk about it afterwards, or you're kind of like, oh, this is another thing that they're forcing me to watch?
They did like this like whole like scenarios thing afterwards, but like it really wasn't that big of a deal. Like they didn't like do anything super extravagant about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like by law that they have to show the videos.
Oh, I
like,
see.
Yeah.
So that's 6th grade. Now you move to 7th grade and you're starting to see it.
Yeah.
Share with me your first time when you actually witnessed someone vaping.
Well, I've never seen someone do it in a grade or anything. I heard that people got caught in the bathroom,
Yeah.
and that was like a big deal.
Normally it's
Yeah.
on like Snapchat, like videos that like people are like vaping and then they like send it to their friends and all that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, there was like the whole incident where like these girls were vaping in like the bathroom and then they got caught and got ISS for a week, which is like in school suspension.
Have your parents ever sat you down and talked to you about vaping?
No.
No.
Have you told them that you like see it or heard about that kids are doing it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I tell them, but I feel like they don't believe how many kids actually do it.
Yeah, that's something I found too as well. From what I hear, it seems like it's so common, like more common than we even know. So yeah, it's pretty shocking. I think the one thing is that both of you guys are in dance. So share with me your experience with dance, while trying to maintain good grades and all that.
It's like pretty stressful. Like sometimes, yeah, I feel like you just have to like manage it. Like, yeah, just like keep it all together.
What makes it difficult? Because you guys are dancing for the school, or is it outside of the school?
Both.
Okay, so how many hours a week are you putting towards dance?
5.
Yeah. Well, every day too.
So then what makes it difficult is the fact that just there's not enough time to study once you put all this time towards dance.
It depends like what season you're in,
Yeah.
like if you have to stay after school or not. But as competition season is like coming up, I'll probably have like more time, but it doesn't really affect my studying. It just depends like how late I get home and if I have a lot of homework that day. It's like stressful.
When you look at dance and you look at academics, at this point, which one is more of a priority for you?
Probably dance.
I would say academics.
Okay.
Maybe dance. That's hard.
And why dance?
Because I have a goal to get somewhere and I have like a really, really strong goal and I'm like working really, really hard towards it and I'm like trying really hard. So I'm like putting in all the hours. I'm like going to a bunch of like camps and like all of that kind of stuff. And I feel like this year it's like mostly like easy. I feel like there's only like a few classes that I'm struggling on, but I just need to like put my head down and like work through it.
Do you mind sharing your goal with us?
Yeah, it's like making it into my high school dance team, which is really, really hard to get into.
Yeah.
Oh, I do know your high school dance team, and it is definitely like one of the best in the country, right? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So what about you, Water Girl?
Same thing. Like I'm trying to make it into my high school dance team.
And what is the percentage that make it from the group?
This year they took 10 girls.
10
100.
freshmen.
10 freshmen out of 100.
What? Wow, that is pressure. Oh, wow. When you hear those numbers, how do you feel about that? Like, what are you thinking about it?
I mean, like, it scares me, but, like, I feel like I can't let it get to me. And my mom was, like, saying, like, if you don't get in, I want you to know that you tried everything you can. So, like, we need to keep working towards it.
I was shocked when I heard the numbers, like, out of 100. But I don't think it'll be really heartbreaking if I don't make it, because there's lots of other options for dance at high school.
So you don't make it, what would you do?
I would probably do my studio dance team.
Okay. And then what about you?
I would probably do like a dance team prep or whatever, just so I can try out again the next year.
So it makes sense why dance is like top on your list, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward into like high school, you made the dance team. Do you think it'll be much change in the priority? Will it still be all about dance, or are you going to shift towards more academics?
I feel like I would like probably work more on my academics, but like still focus really hard on dance because like that's still like something I need to like keep going.
Got it. And at this age, are you guys already thinking about like future?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what are some of the thoughts about the future?
I want to try to be a doctor. That's a lot of school years, so I'm not sure yet.
Oh, okay. So what first made you interested to be a doctor?
My dad's a doctor,
Oh, cool. So you got a chance to kind of see. And what type of doctor?
a radiologist.
You want to follow in his footsteps as far as a radiologist?
I think so.
Oh, cool. Talk to me about his discussions with you, knowing that you want to be a radiologist. How does he feel about the whole dance and your time towards dance?
Well, he doesn't really care because it's just middle school. But like as I go into high school and start taking my SATs and everything, I think he's gonna care like a lot more about trying to get into medical school or whatever.
Oh, okay. Now, is your dad the type that would tell you to like stop doing dance so you can focus on it?
I don't think so.
Okay, so he kind of lets you just do what you want in that area. And what about you?
I want to be an orthodontist when I grow up because,
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. You know, I'm not biased, but I think it's the best career in the world.
because like teeth have always like just fascinated me, and like all like the tools that like dentists and like orthodontists used. I feel like it would just be like a really fun job, and there's like so much stuff that you can like learn about it, and they like make a lot of money, but it's not like a bunch of school years.
Well, I think that's relative. Let me think, because I did 13 years, and that was a lot. Yeah, because I had 4 years of college, and then I did 4 years of dental school, and then 3 years of orthodontic residency. So, yeah, so I had about 11 years after high school. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, honestly, it goes by so fast, and it's fun. What I found is that when you're doing something that you're, like, passionate about, like your experience with dance now, it doesn't really feel like work. You know, like when you look back over and say, oh, I put all these hours into dance, you don't feel like it was like difficult in a sense. You look back over and be like, oh, you know, it went by pretty quick. It's because you're doing what you love and it, you know, it just goes by. And so, yeah, that's awesome. You guys have great goals. So before I let you guys go, share with me anything that you wish a parent, your parent and maybe other parents would know about teenagers in today's world.
I would say about like academics and how hard they can get.
Yeah.
And like probably getting more tutors like to help us. Yeah.
That's great insight there. And you say, what was yours?
For me, I feel like it's just like cut like teens like some slack, because like definitely like society and just like the world in general is like a lot different from like when our parents were kids with academics, because like the math and like everything in school is different. So I feel like we need some time to like just like get it together without like parents like breathing down our necks. Like,
Can you give me a quick example of what that looks like?
probably just like if they're trying their best, and like even if it's not like straight A's, to like know that they're trying their best and like know that like they'll try and get there as best as they can.
When it comes to teenagers, coaching is so effective because we use proven techniques that help teens identify goals and develop actionable plans to achieve them. If you're a parent and you want to learn how to use these coaching techniques to coach your own teen, visit us at coachyourteen.com. Elastigirl and Watergirl, they share their perspective on how important dance is to them. So parents, I would love to hear your perspective. What would you do if your teen prioritized a sport over academics? You know, are you the type of parent that says that academics come first no matter what? Or are you the type of parent that would allow them to prioritize their own passions? So we would love to hear your perspective. So make sure you join our Facebook group, and you can do that by searching A Teen's Perspective. There is much to discuss in this interview, but what I want to focus on is how to coach your teen when they are extremely passionate about a goal. So let me explain that for you. As a parent, if your teen is pursuing a goal, you're going to be there to love them and support them, right? And you're going to say words like, I'm going to love you no matter what. And, you know, whether you make it or not, I'm here for you. You should be proud of yourself. There's always another goal, things like that, right? These are things that parents say, and it's great. But from a coaching standpoint, it's a little different. So there's still the love and there's still the support. But as a coach, we don't really focus on the outcome as much as a parent would. So let me put it this way. So in a case of dancing for Elastigirl and Water Girl, we see more value in the process before the trial than the actual trial and the outcome. So as a coach, obviously we would want Elastigirl and Water Girl to make the team. That makes everyone happy. But as a parent, while you're there supporting your daughter, I also encourage you to put on the coaching hat and to focus more on the process. And the way you do that is to create a mindset profile for your teenager. So what a mindset profile is all about is focusing on the thoughts throughout the process. And the reason we focus on the thoughts as opposed to only focusing on the skill level, like if for dancing, a lot of times they're practicing, right? They're practicing for this routine that they have to try out with. So we definitely need a person to practice, but there's a lot of value in the thoughts throughout the practicing. So I'm gonna give you an example. So say for instance, I'm coaching Elastigirl and Water Girl, and we come up with a plan as far as how much you're gonna practice, and then they'll have the tryouts. Well, what I would be more concerned with is their thoughts, because just because you show up for practice doesn't mean that you're fully engaged. For example, say for instance, they're practicing as much as they're supposed to, right? But then they have doubt. They have thoughts that's telling them that, hey, there's no way you're going to make it. Or maybe they're focused on the fact that the odds of them making it are very slim. So when you're practicing, that actually affects the actions you take. So what a parent can do on their end is create this mindset profile. And the way you create it is you ask your teens about your thoughts. Now, you don't want to make it weird. You don't want to constantly say, hey, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? You actually look for cues. And the cues will be two things. It would be anytime they're expressing an emotion, an exaggerated emotion. So for instance, they come back from practice and they're super happy and you just see that they're amped up. Well, that's a perfect time to talk to them about their thoughts. Hey, what were you thinking while you were practicing? Or what are you thinking now? But you also wanted to ask them the same thing if they're like kind of down. Maybe they're a little sad. You want to ask them, hey, so what are some of the thoughts in your head right now? So what are the thoughts in your mind right now? The other cue you want to look for is when they're taking action. So say, for instance, Elastigirl woke up early and started practicing her routine. Well, as a parent, what you would want to do is congratulate, say, hey, that was amazing. I'm very proud of you that you just decided to practice more than you planned. I'm curious, what thoughts did you have that encouraged you to practice? Elastigirl may say that, she woke up and she just felt inspired. She felt like she could actually do this. She can make the team. And the whole purpose of having a mindset profile is that you want to connect the dots for your teenager. You want them to see that their thoughts influences their actions. And the reason why this is important is because your teen will have more passions. So dance may not be the only passion. It may be the passion now, but who's to say that, next year may be soccer, or maybe they get into college and their passion is orthodontics, which I hope. So being great at dancing is not really going to help you with orthodontics, because we really do not do much dancing, at least not in front of the patients. So all of the skills that they're learning for dance will serve them for dance. But if they completely switch passions, then it may not help them. But the mindset will always serve them no matter what they do. So no matter if they change to soccer, or maybe they change to painting or singing, or maybe orthodontics later on, the mindset is what's going to help them achieve their goal. And what's important for you as a parent to understand is the focus of this mindset profile is so that they can connect the dots, that the thoughts is what stands in the way of their success. It's not the skills, it's not the resources, it's their thoughts. So if you can help them connect the dots, then they are going to be set up for success in the future. So I know there's a lot to understand. So if you have any questions, you can actually reach me directly at rj@drrjjackson.com, or you can check out coachyourteen.com. Well, I hope this interview will help in some way with the relationship between you and your teen. Thank you for listening, and thank you so much for all of your support. Please review, rate, and subscribe. and share with a friend. Once again, I'm your host, Dr. RJ, and this is A Teen's Perspective.